bit degenerate. And
I was looking.
I'm just gonna rev the exhaust a bunch because it doesn't really pop until it gets hot.
Yeah,
so
easy,
then you've
easy.
actually got popping in. Should be.
Yeah. Let's hope that didn't blow up the speakers.
Warm enough. Yeah. See what I mean? For a stock car, it's loud.
It's actually pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why people hate on this car.
You wouldn't expect.
That reminds me of the S7 again. The same wheel spin experience. Alright, welcome to another episode of Down to Drive. My name is Daniel, and today we're with Ron and his awesome Supra.
Hi.
If you scroll back, probably, let me see, I'll probably put a link in the description or probably up here somewhere to his old car, which was an S7.
Yep.
And now you've upgraded, side-graded, what are we going to call this?
Just a lateral transition.
Lateral transition, I like that. Into, a Supra. A90 Supra, how are you liking it so far?
As I was saying to you before, it's very different. Very different to the S7, obviously. But I'm really enjoying it. Like, it's a fantastic platform. It's just something totally different. And that's kind of what I needed after 3 years of owning and modifying the S7. And here it is. I'm loving it.
That's cool, man. Like, so I guess, wait, do you do a bit of cross shopping, or is it more like, you know what, I want something, I want out of the S7, I'm just gonna get into a Supra?
Well, probably about end of last year, I was debating getting rid of the S7 and what car I would want. I was originally looking at M2 comps.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted something totally different, something small, rear-wheel drive that I can throw around, that I can track, all that. But then along the same lines of the M2 comp, I started looking into the Supra. And around then, there was just more and more traction about how much of a performance monster these things actually are. I started to really fall in love with the looks. Went took one for a test drive. I haven't had that much fun driving a car in a long time. Because luckily the dealership was like, here, take it for an hour, beat the hell out of it, tell us what you think. Alright, cool.
My kind of dealership.
Did exactly that. Fell in love with it. And then probably about a month later, got this one.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So with this one, it's the 3-litre twin-turbo V6?
3-litre single-turbo straight six.
Straight six, that's it.
So it's the B58. So it's shared in a couple of BMW platforms as well. But fantastic motor. Fantastic motor.
I mean, like the tunable capabilities, considering like how many, B58s you actually see pumping out. I mean, obviously at the more expensive end, 1,000 horsepower plus, but and that exhaust sounds. But I must say, like, in terms of how it sits, at least from my memory of the S7, relatively low, but this feels like as if you're just sunken in.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a good driving position. Like, the cabin is small, but I mean, for me, it's about the perfect size. I'm 6 foot. If you were maybe 6'1", 6'2", or just had a longer torso, it might not be the most comfortable thing. But like, for me, I'm enjoying the way it all feels.
That's good. And I guess with mods wise, so even though, look, the exhaust sounds awesome, I know that you were saying that that's still stock. So what mods did you put into it?
The only things that I've done to this car so far, it has carbon M-style mirrors, it's got a carbon whale tail, and it's just got some $8 plastic from Amazon onto this little side triangles to fix the famed wind buffeting issue that everyone freaks out about. But $8 on Amazon sorted that completely.
I mean, like, considering everyone supposedly, owns these, like, they complain about it, but if it's an easy fix, rather than buying the couple of $100 versions of it, exactly. $8. If I was watching this, $8. That's awesome. And like, so since you've owned it, taken out on a lot of drives as well, like
I've actually driven this thing quite a lot. How many Ks do I have now? Get through to it. I've driven this about 6,000 Ks in 4 weeks.
You are definitely enjoying it.
Well, I mean, I've gone back and forth from Sydney a few times to Canberra. And then this is my only car at the moment. I drive quite a bit from work. I have some just kind of regional sites sites that I go to.
Okay.
So it kind of piles up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've bought this car with the intention of beating the ever-living shit out of it. So some kilometers don't really bother me.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those things where, look, if you're going to do a lot of kilometers in a nice enough car, it doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Yeah.
And then, so from a practicality perspective, anyway, so obviously this isn't as spacious as the S7, which is fair and fine. But have you been finding, I guess, from your own ownership experience, carries enough stuff for yourself?
I mean, yeah, for day-to-day stuff, yeah. I mean, if I would want to go to IKEA and buy a whole bunch of flat-pack furniture or something, obviously this wouldn't be the go-to.
Yeah.
You know, I know people have access to other vehicles. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, for day-to-day, it's fine for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously, if this is your only car and you've got kids, probably not.
Yeah, leave the kids. Get a trailer. I don't know.
Strap them to the roof.
Exactly.
That's what the little divot in the roof is for.
It's baby sized. This is what it is. Yeah, strap them down, duct tape maybe. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, I mean, for a 2-seater coupe, it's that exhaust, love it.
Alright for stock.
Yeah, it's for stock's pretty good. I mean, so in terms of the plan with this one as well, are you planning on, I guess, building it out into, well, I guess, what's your ultimate version of this, since you're going to be beating the living daylights out of it eventually?
Well, the cool thing about these is you can kind of do anything with them. People have some insane, drag builds. These are into the 7s now.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's all sorts of time attack kind of builds, or more sustained long track use builds. My main use case will probably be more geared towards time attack, as well as just shorter runs like hill climb, that kind of thing. At the same time. So ideally, I'd like to be able to build it to be quite competitive in that kind of thing, while still able to be driven around on the street. Legally or not, just so long as it's comfortable enough and reliable enough. So, but whether I kind of, as I dive into track stuff, more and more mods are going to keep piling on. So whether I actually keep driving this on the street or not is kind of
it's dependent anyway, right?
But ideally, that's what I'd like.
Yeah, look, next thing, this time next year, 1,000 horsepower, track only, 1 seat on, and that's it. Tons of roll cage, and that's it.
We'll see.
That's pretty cool. And then, when you said, like, with this car, you didn't do much cross shopping, as you're saying before, like, but if hypothetically, now that you've owned it, would there be any other platform that you would have wanted to try at all, or
not really?
Not really. Yeah, fair.
I mean, I already know that the B58 is fantastic. I've driven it. I knew how it felt. It feels fantastic. There's not that much out there really. Like, for how this thing looks, how different it is to everything else on the road, how much attention it gets, how unique it is, especially in Canberra. The amount of old ladies that have come up to me and just asked, like, what the hell is that?
It's a Ferrari. It's a white Ferrari. That's what it is.
As well as the fact that it's paired with a really capable gearbox, a really capable motor. People complain about the partnership, but I'm happy that it's a BMW interior and tech and all that. Just thinking about there's really not that much else.
I guess, like, as you're right in saying that it's either this M2,
I would say, and then maybe an M2 comp, but then it's not going to kind of look as special. In my opinion, don't get me wrong, they still look fantastic, but it's still just a little sedan, really.
No, that makes sense. I think personally, like, I don't know, when I first saw one of these in person, like, pictures I was a bit skeptical, but when you see it in person, at least my mind changed. I was like, oh, this is actually a really nice looking platform in terms of what's there. A bit more unique than most other cars, I reckon. And at the same time, but next year I think we'll finally have the manual in Australia. I think
2023s.
So it'd be interesting. Obviously, everyone was complaining, there's no manual, so now that we're going to have one, let's see who's actually going to buy one. That's the real question.
Exactly. I mean, I don't think this car needs a manual. I think this motor, chassis, everything pairs with the gearbox really well.
Was this DCT or was it
no, so it's a ZF. It's single clutch.
Fair.
I mean, for a single clutch, it shifts really fast. The limit for these is kind of around, once you get to around 600 horsepower, wheel horsepower, you start to get a little bit of clutch slip, but there's plenty of kits to build the
Yeah, I mean,
there's no hurdle that hasn't been hit.
Yeah.
And developed for, really.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's good.
Thanks again, Ron, for being a part of the channel. Second time around. As I said before, I'll link the first video in the description or either somewhere above here. But yeah, like, really enjoyed your experience in talking about your Supra. Hopefully we'll be there the whole journey when you like do the upgrades and yeah, see what this ends up turning into.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got big plans for it, so yeah, it'll be fun.
So we'll see you on the next one.